OSavin is with me today. I'm going to be bringing him on in just a moment. Let me get through my ads and all my stuff, my big shebang, and we'll get into it. 17 pages. You heard that here on Nino's Corner.tv. And by the way, I want to apologize to my Ringside with Nino VIP members. I didn't mean to log off. I was busy working on the computer, and I hit stop record, and then I just hit end meeting, and it just ended it for everybody. But we went like 3 hours, I think you guys were on there, or 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. So I hope you got a lot out of it. Juan even jumped in. So Ringside with Nino is a place to be. Huge networking community at Ringside with Nino. It's awesome. So get over there on Nino's Corner.tv. Sign up for Ringside with Nino. It's worth it. Everybody loves it. It's growing by the day. It's awesome. Folks, hit the notification button. Hit the notification button. Like, share, subscribe. Do the whole deal for me. Help you. Also, Venmo, 𝗵𝗃_Rod1977. Yes, I answer all the questions there. 𝗵𝗃_Rod1977. And you'll be happy to know I went to my P.O. box, and it was like Christmas. They're like, hey, the supervisors come in every 10 days, and if you're not here every 10 days, they send the boxes back, but we held on to these for you. I was like, damn, you really, like, this? I paid for this P.O. box. You're telling me they come in every 10 days and, like, send mail back? So if the mail gets returned to you, just, I guess, send it back. I try to get there as often as I can. But I went to the P.O. box. I got the boxes in my house. I got to go through them. When the lights go out on Amazon. When the lights go out, baby, yeah. On Amazon, and my mom's book, The Mexican Mix. Thank you for the prayers, folks. It means so much to me. Folks, red light therapy. Get your red light therapy. This stuff works. Are you seeing more friends and family diagnosed with cancer, or has it happened to you? It's happening to everybody now. Turbo cancer is now a global crisis. But here's hope. Thousands of clinical studies show therapies that work. One PubMed study found that 660 nanometer wavelength red light therapy reduced breast cancer growth by 40% in just 24 hours. Another on prostate cancer saw 49% remission in over 400 participants. A lymphoma pilot study, all 3 patients became cancer-free. Want to learn more? Investigative medicalist. That's a good word. I might invent that one. Hey, yo. Medical journalist Jonathan Otto reveals how red light therapy with proven wavelengths can help with cancer, tinnitus, weight loss, wrinkles, dementia, anxiety, autoimmune diseases, and much, much more. You can even try a red light therapy device risk-free with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 3-year warranty, and flexible financing, folks. Visit myredlight.com and watch the free training and claiming limited time bonuses. Use coupon code, I think it's Nino down there. Check down there and folks and see it's Nino. You get to do the sandwich effect, the red light therapy with the PMF mat. You won't be sorry. I do that every day and I love it. Nino is the code, I believe. It's down there in the link below. Get started on it, folks, and start getting healthy. You only live once. Live your best life is the way I see it. All right, so X is Nino Boxer. PatriotWear.com. That's going to get a facelift very soon. Doing some big things here over at Nino's Corner.tv. Also, Nino's Corner.tv, the general's tent is Stuart Swerdlow. Looks like the Ukraine-Russian war could be coming to a close. So was he right? He was just off on the date? Could be. But you asked the questions. That'll be 5 p.m., February 28th. I believe that, well, that's tomorrow, isn't it? Holy shit. Tomorrow's the end of the month? Wow, okay, so it's tomorrow, 5 p.m. I'll see you all there on the General's tent. Nino's Corner.tv, I got Roy Jones Jr. up there right now talking about masculinity crisis, how they're trying to weed out the alpha male. That's up there right now, Roy Jones Jr. Juan OSavin will be up today on Nino's Corner.tv going into more depth on what this executive order is going to entail and basically how he drafted it up. It's pretty crazy. I have Judge Joe Brown. I got a sneaky suspicion. Judge Joe Brown will be up on Nino's Corner.tv. Trader Girl X is coming on. SGN on. Craig Lund. We're doing a special show about the fast food industry and satanic Oh gosh, influence on it. It's pretty disturbing. I'm never eating fast food again. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm not ever eating it again. And I don't. I haven't in years, but Lewis Herms. He's seen and mapped the underground tunnels and mansions, folks. And he goes into this on Nino's Corner. That's going to be on YouTube. I'm going to probably premiere that tomorrow. So without further ado, folks, you might want to turn it down or turn it up, baby. Yeah. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, brother. Yeah. All right. So the deep state's losing. No secret there. It's going to be real interesting to see what the Democrats do once Trump signs this sweeping executive order on elections. It's literally game over for the Democrats and the rhinos, and they know this. Juan states Trump will declare a national emergency as he signs this executive order. I don't know in what order, but Juan will explain. What could be the logical next move for the Democrats and deep state? What would they do? What would they make? What's the move? I don't know. I'm thinking some kind of event or events to push chaos, postpone the midterms, maybe. In fact, I'm betting midterms get delayed or postponed. It all depends on they make a move, we make a move, we make a move, they make a move. So what we're seeing right now, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense what Trump is doing with Maduro, El Mencho, and the cartels. Basically, he's neutralizing a threat. He must take out the henchmen that would kickstart the events and chaos. The deep state soldiers, so to speak, the ground troops. This is a military operation and it is being done in operational phases. And I'm sure all of you by now can see this playing out. I believe Iran will be the next threat to be eliminated. But I'm really nervous about Iran, and I'm going to talk to Juan about Iran as well. Once all threats are eliminated, then comes, in my opinion, and I'll ask Juan about this, the arrests, because the threats will be neutralized, and they'll go much more smoothly. Why do you think Hillary and Bill Clinton are on center stage right now? They're in the spotlight. The clock is ticking, folks. All right, let's bring Juanito up right now. El Juanito, are you there?
Yeah, hey, how you doing, bro?
Well, I want to apologize to my audience first. Juan is in the middle of the Atlantic, so hopefully we get good reception and we do a great show. This could be challenging, but I promise you he'll be on Nino's Corner.tv right after this, and we'll do a hell of a show there. All right, Juan. So, as you said,
not quite the middle of the Atlantic. That's Jamaica over there. So,
all right. Well, okay. Well, Juan, all right. So we're looking at this executive order, 17 pages, as you always have said. And so what are we looking at from here?
Well, and it wouldn't be fair to say I did that. I had my coalition team. I asked them back at the inauguration when we had a special meeting the day after the inauguration. We actually met for several days out in D.C. And I asked them to, formulate a alternate version of proposed executive order. The one that I had seen back during the campaign in summer of 2024, I thought was inadequate to the task. And so we worked as a team, and I've got some of the best legal expert minds, election expert minds on the planet in the coalition, and they worked diligently for a couple of months, came up with the proposed version. It just so happened to be 17 pages when we were done. There was like 13 versions that were done before we came up with the final version. There was a lot of discussion.
So you're saying it was a coincidence that it's 17 pages?
It was a coincidence. The way that it was formatted and like that, it came out at 17 pages. I think everybody in the coalition was kind of laughing and having some fun with that, but that's what it ended up being. And
so wanted to, Hillary's up in the spotlight right now. She's being very defiant. They've even postponed some of the deposition. Let's talk about Hillary for a moment. What is going on with her and Bill, and why the spectacle? I mean, they're very, very arrogant, Juanito.
Well, they postponed Hillary's testimony briefly and then continued on with it because one of the people put out a photograph that was taken during the deposition, and that was not allowed in the rules, and so they got
Was that
under
done on
control.
purpose? You think that was orchestrated?
Well, if it was, it wasn't. It was 𝗬𝗶𝗱 from Colorado who posted the photograph, and she made some kind of fun remarks concerning her bleach bit, which is a reference to some of the Hillary stuff with her missing emails and like that. And so it was, probably half accident, half intentional, but it doesn't matter. It paused it briefly. Bill is testifying today, so.
And
we'll
where
see
do
how
you
that
expect
goes.
this? Where do you expect this to lead, Juanito? I mean, is this just are we just gathering information to when this goes military? Where is this going to lead?
Well, I've never expected any great revelations here. They've had years to work up their explanations of what occurred. The fact of the matter is that Epstein was involved in a very sophisticated plot to blackmail, honeypot, bribe, extort people who came into his circle. And the people that were roping them in, serving them up to Epstein, think of volleyball, receiving the volleyball and then passing it up to the net, and somebody goes to spike it. Epstein was the guy at the net to spike it. So the people roping in people of influence were Bill Clinton, Andy out of England, and Ghislaine Maxwell, with a moneyed crowd that was primarily focused around Jewish or Israeli crowd. And there's other, one of the things that everybody here needs to remember, it's more than just Epstein. There are other islands there that had people doing and hosting things that were similar, even arguably worse. One of the ones that really hasn't come up broadly yet is the Virgin guy. What's his name? That has
Oh yeah,
islands up there.
yeah.
And by the way, that's where the 𝗦𝗍𝗵𝗹 group had their meeting, and there was other things there that were done, similar things in other islands. So Epstein is actually only just the tip of the iceberg in much of what's going on here. And by the way, not just out there in the Caribbean. We had other similar operations going on out of Asia, primarily Cambodia. And that's the data that was observed, that 𝗬𝗏, the kid who invented the Reddit platform, intercepted at MIT in going into one of the data closets where data communications lines went through, and he tapped into it. And they said he got the Cambridge Library data out of England, which is really a bullshit story. He was able to get terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of video that was coming out of Cambodia with the kids in it.
Jeez.
So there's,
So how do you feel about Hillary?
here.
How do you feel about Hillary saying, oh, I never met him. I never associated with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell kind of like in passing. I mean, complete and utter horseshit. What do you get? I mean, it's obviously we see right through it. My whole audience sees right through it. We all do. Just blatant lies. I mean, what do you have to say to something like that? What do you think when she's just vomiting these utter and unbelievable lies that I've never even hung out with them? It's lies. What is she going to gain by that?
Well,
And there's
the
so much
risk,
proof that shows otherwise.
well, the risk for her is that other data comes out that nixes that and makes it obvious that it was a lie. Um, but I think if you get right down to it, the things that Hillary will get nailed on, these are peripheral. Remember, WikiLeaks is primarily centered around the emails between her campaign manager, John Podesta, and herself. And some of the stuff in there is just extremely bizarre, over the top bizarre. One of the things even Bill Maher was talking about it. What's this fixation with 𝗬𝗃𝗁? It's clear they're all talking about code language. And then the imagery, the words they're using are all words that the FBI has shown as related to pedophilia. And
Hot
so
dogs,
literally,
pizza, stuff like that.
yeah. And so, and some of this stuff is just, wildly bizarre. These are the people that want to run the country, and they're having these types of bizarre conversations. Any way you want to look at it, innocently, gosh, I don't know why these people talk like this, but whatever. Or in a more sophisticated sense, what is the code actually referring to? Either way, is this the people you want running?
Well, she's now saying that she's demanding Trump also go under oath over the Epstein Island claims, and she's saying the U.S. Department of Justice withheld documents relating to Donald Trump. So she's coming out trying to throw Trump under the bus.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's distraction. All the years that Biden was in power, they had the opportunity to try to do something there, and they know that's probably problematic. Even right now, one thing that everybody has to remember: the sophistication, the level of sophistication with AI to generate video, it's extremely difficult to detect as being fake, is very, very high. It can be detected. You just have to work it a lot harder. And so the question is, and of course, the Southern District in New York had all this evidence on the Epstein stuff. They weren't coming out with it. Who was hiding it? It was FBI and those people down in Southern District, New York. Remember, Cash had to go down with FBI personnel and literally knock down the doors and pull the evidence out. Took out a couple of pickup truckloads of evidence from Southern District, New York, from the FBI offices there that was being withheld from him as FBI director. And then they found additional evidence up in the FBI facility in Washington, D.C., which is essentially shut down. And further, as I mentioned to you before, for your audience, just to remember, burn bags that had additional evidence in them that was set for destruction. And it was only because of the work of a few patriots that information got to the right people and those burn bags were recovered. Why was some of this evidence being destroyed? It wasn't going to go against Trump. I guarantee you those people destroying it were destroying Trump evidence that Trump would have been indicted on.
I have a thought here, and I was thinking that when I saw that more evidence is coming out, I'm like, could that be the deep state releasing bullshit? And they're going to say, oh, look, here's Trump in the videos, and they would be AI videos just to throw Trump, a false flag of Epstein drops. Is that possible?
It is. And again, 20 years Southern District of New York had this stuff with their friends and buddies to do all sorts of stuff to try and reconstitute some of these materials. So I'd be pretty, anything we see, look, trust but verify. If you see something, okay, now let's let the pixel counters, the people that look at the fine data, have at it and see what's real and what's fabricated. And, we'll get to the bottom of it.
All right, let's get to the executive order. And Juanito, I give you the credit, man. I am not ashamed to do that. I always have to give credit where credit is due. And I've been bringing you on my program for years, and you've been ahead of the ball. Yeah, we missed some dates here and there, but I mean, it always comes to fruition. And yes, we got our haters. It is what it is. But I gotta say, man, I gotta give you credit. I mean, you said exactly what would happen with Biden, how he would be the rotting corpse of the Democrat Party, how they would replace him with Kamala, all that going. You said Trump would be arrested, the whole thing. I mean, time in, time out, you've been proven right on a lot of things, and I got to give you credit for that. And now you're saying that this executive order is coming, 17 pages, and then whammo, here it is. And so how is this, what's this going to look like, Juanito? What's this going to look like, the 17-page executive order? When does he sign it? Is it going to be before the primaries? And what will be the Democrat move after that? Because they're going to be done. They will be done. And the rhinos will be done as well.
Well, this is an important conversation. Slow down. I'm not saying a date. And
Okay.
where I've put people in a zone, I'll say, this is, possibility, I think likely, but I always try to qualify it so that there's not any misunderstanding. I don't think I've ever actually given a date other than a zone. I think it could be this date or that date, but we'll just have to wait and see type of thing. So I'm
Fair
not
enough.
a
Fair
date
enough.
caller.
Right. Fair enough.
And so, as I said previously, numerous times on your show, the president has this executive order proposal, and it's been on his desk since late March. It came in from a couple different directions. He didn't just get it one way, no single point failure. And by the way, it was actually supposed to be two different things. One aimed at what does the executive order need to look like, and why, related to proper way to run the vote for 2026. And then a second report that showed the problems with the machines from a national security perspective, and applying national security protocols to it. The group that did that version got it to the president also, but bypassed the path that we wanted to do. I asked them to do it, met with them, gave them the outline. Then they went kind of in a different direction, and they wanted to, the whole point was to show the vulnerability of the machines. They came up with a variation that included using a new style of machine that they proposed, using their national security expertise. That on its face was rejected by the president pretty decisively, because he doesn't want any machines involved. Now, there is an aspect within the voter rolls that a number of the people have identified as probably needing to have some electronic involvement, but with certain physical counters, including that you have to present physically in person valid U.S. citizen ID at the point of the actual vote. Nothing can be done online or over the internet or something like that. So that's covered in the 17-page proposed executive order. And Trump has said a couple of times over the last couple of months that the attorneys are looking at this and deciding what they want to keep or change or whatever.
Let me just read this right here. It says a group of pro-Trump attorneys and supporters is circulating a draft of a presidential executive order that uses alleged Chinese interference in the 2020 election, of which there is no evidence, it says here in the article. Isn't this crazy? To justify a national emergency declaration that will, everything you said, to justify a national emergency declaration that they claim would give President Donald Trump sweeping power over voting, multiple sources told ABC News. Look how they put this in a negative view. They give it a negative look here. The 17-page draft order, which you've always said, which sources say Trump has received, would mandate the use of voter ID and hand-counted ballots and ban mail-in ballots ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. The attorneys pushing the draft order said they anticipate it would be incorporated into a planned executive order, which they expect to be issued soon. the states are going to fight back with this? What are they going to? What are going to be their moves?
Well, I think this is where your audience is pretty important, and other similar audiences. Starting the conversation, I would have personally wished that this conversation was going hard and strong 8, 9, 10 months ago. It just hasn't gotten the traction thus far. And before Trump actually signs anything or issues anything, I think the attention level of the public has to be quite a bit higher. This has to be done by President Trump in the context of a broader national discussion, because what's about to happen here is so sweeping, it's so impactful to us as a country and our direction, that you can't really overstate how dramatic a moment this is. It is the pivotal point in all of Trump's time in public office. When he does this, it will be the single most controversial, and it's the fulcrum. It's the pivot point of everything Trump.
Juanito, you know that the media is going to just go after him and attack him and say he's a tyrannical dictator. He's stealing the elections. I mean, they're going to go after Trump big time. That's what they've been. That's the next move. That's what they're going to do, and they're going to rally up all the liberals and Democrats are going to get pissed. It's going to me, I see chaos.
Okay, so let me respond to that. I'm actually not upset that would happen.
No,
this is one of those situations where, the old saying, no news is bad news, is probably actually true. That there is discussion in the midst of the controversy is not a negative thing. The reality is this isn't about a Republican win. This is about a honest, fair, real election by the American people, of the people who represent them, and versus what you're going to understand as a audience here specifically, but also other audiences, including audiences that just don't want to hear this, that China, Cuba, Venezuela, Serbia, and a number of other allies directly interfered in the 2020 election. And I'll tell you what I think is the absolute point where the flip begins, the turning point for all of this begins, as we're getting closer to it. There are grand juries in 3 locations that have been hearing evidence concerning the 2020 election. One of those grand juries has reached a kind of a end point in their requests for discovery, information, etc., before they issue their indictments. And I don't think I can say precisely the things that have occurred. If somebody else brings it out to the public, I'll mention it. But I don't think it should start with me. But there's certain things that happened that now I think it's imminent that probably the first person that is indicted and arrested is going to be John Brennan.
Oof.
And so former head of the CIA. And there's a lot of reasons why that's so epic. As this whole thing turns, that's this pivot point, fulcrum point in the leverage over this whole 2020 discussion. Up until he is indicted and arrested, media like this AOL article and dozens and dozens and dozens of other articles have gotten away with saying the false statements by President Trump and others that the 2020 election was stolen.
Right.
At the point that there's a specific arrest related to foreign interference in the 2020 election, that becomes harder to hold that point. As the evidence comes out, the American people will be able, even before he goes on trial, to come to some decision points based on the evidence that's released. Yes, there was foreign interference. China, Venezuela, Serbia, Cuba were all involved in this, and other countries, as a nation-state level attack on who runs the United States of America. And all of these countries from outside of U.S. borders conspired to put Biden in and not have Trump win that election. And that Trump did, in fact, win the election. It's only through the false data that was entered into the American system and the false ballots that Biden got into office. At the point that the public begins to see this evidence and there's an arrest related to that specific data. Remember, we have people who have testified before grand juries now here in America that they were involved in flipping the electronic vote and the paper vote here in the United States and putting Biden into office falsely. So the will of the American people was not who got into office, it was the will of China who got into office. It was the will of Cuba, it was the will of Venezuela and Maduro, and using server farm in Serbia. And by the way, just a reminder, the test of the Serbian vote scamming system, because they were doing it out of Venezuela, they had to move their operations to Serbia as Venezuela became more and more dysfunctional. It was technicians out of Venezuela that were involved in this. They moved the server farm and built a new one in Serbia. The building that server farm was located in was jointly owned by the wealthiest person in Serbia and John Brennan. Okay, jointly owned. And then that server farm, the test was the South African election in 2019 that put Ramaphosa into power again. And that was the first test of that system to make sure everything was working. They couldn't have the first, live operation be the U.S. election. They had to test it somewhere. They tested it in South Africa. When the 2020 election happened, of course, we know what the outcome was there. Now, why didn't it work in 2024? It didn't work in 2024 because there was a military operation that blocked the key data lines in and out of Serbia. At the location where the server farm was at. And so they couldn't communicate their data. Without the electronic data, they couldn't cook the ballots, the paper ballot data, and they have to do both at the same time. And so they weren't able to steal the 2024 election. And that was because we had intel from the various people of exactly what they were doing. Let me just add this one thing, real quick. So the end result, putting a rope around this whole thing, is that we have the people that did this, that did it in 2020 and had intel from them all that time during the Biden years, while they were protected, even working deep cover. Some of them stayed in the system. They're now here in the U.S. and are testifying before grand juries. This isn't blather. This isn't hopium. This isn't silliness. Those grand juries are hearing real testimony from real people. There's real data involved, and it's been corroborated with other testimony by a number of the key principals before Congress and other places, and the lies that were involved. So this is a very advanced operation. This isn't playtime.
So let me pivot just for a second. 𝗦𝗁𝗶𝗹 at 10:24 this morning, Friday the 27th, today, the United States ambassador to Israel emailed his own staff and told them to leave the country today, not next week, not when convenient. Today, 𝗦𝗁𝗶𝗹, the man Donald Trump personally appointed to represent America in Israel sent an email to every embassy employee in Jerusalem telling them that anyone wishing to depart should book any available flight and leave immediately Israel's soil before the day ends. The embassy has shifted to authorized departure status, meaning the U.S. government will pay for non-essential personnel and their families to evacuate. The New York Times obtained the email. Do you have any intel on this, Juanito? I mean, I guess it's go time.
Well, I don't think you have to have secret communications on any of this. Trump has been very out front. He gave Iran 15 days to complete a deal concerning nuclear weapons development moving forward. That is a date certain, and he's not screwing around. He's going to operate very much like George Bush did in Gulf War I. He did Desert Shield. He told him you have 6 months. 180 days into the thing, when they hadn't worked a deal, on the date he said, figure it out by this time or not. And they got to midnight on that date. Nothing had been resolved, and the attack began. And we went from Desert Shield to Desert Storm. Trump is going to be, there's a lot of times he's squishy, and he'll, intone he's about to do something and then come right up to the line and find a reason to pause. And the other side has to be, totally tense the whole way. Iran's been on pins and needles about the next phase of the attack during all of this work by the Iranian people trying to overthrow this Islamic regime. This is the point where he's no longer, doing the hat trick, feinting a move this way and then going that way or whatever. He's being decisive. He's made it clear what he's going to do. And he wants Iran to see these types of actions where we're moving our personnel, our people out of the way, so that they know this is serious. You want to play games. It's like Maduro. Maduro could have worked a deal up to 12 hours before the attack began and we went in and grabbed him there in Venezuela. He could have worked a deal, and Trump would have honored it. He could be out on his desert island enjoying life and the servants and all of his money. His wife and kid, would be fussing and stewing, but they wouldn't be doing it inside a prison cell. At the point that we were done, and by the way, he got an extra couple of weeks of grace period just because of the weather. And so he had lots of time. He thought he was just going to ride it out. Cuba'd protect him, China'd protect him, and he was safe. And they had, put Trump on notice that if you do anything, we'll do something back, and it'll be, you'll pay, you'll pay, you'll pay. Well, Iran's got the same attitude. Trump's going to be ham-fisted when he goes in and deals with Iran? If he decides to go do any attack in Iran, it will not be half-assed.
Right. It says here,
decisive.
Iran just closed the last door from a pulpit in front of God. So Ayatollah 𝗂𝗏, how do you say it? 𝗂𝗏? How do you say his last name? 𝗂𝗏? How do you say his last name?
I think it's correct to say 𝗂𝗏.
Ayatollah 𝗂𝗏. All right. Good before Friday prayers in Tehran today and declared the Islamic Republic has never accepted suspension of enrichment and will not accept it. Not temporarily, not partially, not under any conditions. So Friday prayers in Iran are not sermons. They're state policy delivered through divine authority. When a senior cleric declares enrichment non-negotiable from the minbar, he is transmitting the supreme leader final position through the only channel that outranks diplomatic cable, God. So, all right, Juan, they're not going to back down. I mean, I thought it was over when we bombed their nuclear facility.
Well, let me just add this, Nino. There was a class of people that believed that the Emperor of Japan was essentially, God and the emissary of God. And so he could make whatever statement he wanted. And they found out differently, and things changed. Trump's going to be very similar in dealing with the imams in Iran. They claim to be speaking on behalf of God, hearing, from God in some divine sense. Their theater may very well end up, blowing up right in their faces. And by the way, Trump gave them 15 days, but at the point that the negotiations stop and they're not going to restart and they say this is final, they might get a surprise. Maybe Trump doesn't wait 15 days. Maybe he does 12 or 13.
Well,
and then comes in and kicks ass because, okay, well, he said it's done. I guess we can go ahead and start. They can start. We're ready to start. We were ready to start weeks ago. And again, we moved a second aircraft carrier task force into the area. Trump has been very clear. He wants minimum civilian casualties. But he also will come in and break everything. So if they think that they're going to, be protected, Trump's going to be right there to prove to them that, actually, we talked to a higher God, and he says your God is shit.
Oh my gosh. Juanito, I'm going to bring you on ninoscorner.tv right now. Let me wrap up my show here. I appreciate you coming on. I'll be sending you a link right after this, and we'll continue this because I have questions about the blood moon, March 3rd, and I have questions about the Democrat game plan and where this is all going with the war with Iran. It all seems to be lining up with the blood moon, which you've talked about extensively, these planetary alignments, things like that. So can we do that on .tv, Juanito?
Sure.
All right, I'll send you a link right after that. Thank you so much for joining me, Juan. I'll see you right now in about 15 minutes. All right, folks, let me finish up my show here. So that's all, folks. Netflix walks away from Warner Brothers, refusing to raise the offer. Netflix has thrown in the towel and won't be raising the offer for Warner Brothers anymore to match a rival bid by Paramount. Game-changing news. So I guess, we all know that Obama controls Netflix, and I think Trump kind of maneuvered in there and kind of messed up the deal, is from what I'm hearing behind the scenes here. I don't know how true that is, but it looks like game-changing news that capped several days of action around the bidding war. The move comes 2 hours after Warner Brothers Discovery said it determined that latest offer it received from Paramount was superior to the $82.7 billion deal. $82.7 billion, folks. Netflix still had 4 business days to match Paramount's offer, but decided, why wait? Co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters regretfully took the company out of the running. Ha ha ha! Obama didn't get his deal, I guess. Pretty crazy, folks. Britney Spears is back in the news. You gotta love Britney Spears, man. Britney Spears got back. She's back to her X-rated social media antics as she posts naked photos of herself on the beach. Man, if anybody's ever been 𝗀𝗂𝗍𝗓, it's Britney Spears. I mean, we're just watching this play out. I mean, you got to think, with everything we know now, with everything that's happening behind the scenes, I mean, a lot of people wanted to be famous, and they tried so hard to be famous, they just thought, well, I'm just not so good at it or whatever. But these people are manipulated and groomed at a very young age to get where they're at, and then left out to dry, folks. I mean, look at Britney Spears. Look at Madonna. Look what happened to Madonna's face. Look at her face. She looks. Look what happened to Madonna's face. She looks like an alien. Look at Britney Spears. Look at all these people now as they're reaching their midlife and older. They're completely screwed up, and they've always been screwed up. This is what the industry does to you. I mean, I used to think it was just boxers, right, that just got washed up and broke and beaten down. And it is for the most part, but it's the whole entertainment industry. These people are so mind controlled, so disturbed, so destroyed by the end of their career that you can't have any kind of envy for them. You can't. I feel completely bad for all of them. I feel terrible for Britney Spears. Watching her do, I mean, does she have she can't see her kids, right? I mean, she's completely locked in a room, basically, into I don't even know where she lives. She lives in some combine. It's crazy. And they still control her. They still control this poor girl. Look at Wendy Williams. Is it Wendy Williams, Alex? Wendy Williams with the eyes that look like she's getting nitrogen pumped into her ass.
Yeah.
Is it Wendy Williams, or she's just constantly bug-eyed, like she's freaking out? Dude, you go against the narrative even one iota, they get you. Look at Kanye West. You go against the narrative, bam, they get you. They put you in place. It's mind control. Look at Dan Bongino, folks. You can't tell me that's the same guy that went into the FBI and now is exiting, who's just exited. I don't know what I'm watching here with him. It's like a train wreck. Cussing, screaming at people. I mean, I do that out of fun, but this guy means it, man. Like he's all in. Fangs are out, teeth, claws are out. It's crazy to watch. It's like I can't believe what I'm seeing here. It's like I'm in the Twilight Zone. But you know, it is what it is. It's MKUltra. I have to wonder what happened to Dan Bongino. That can't be the same guy. And you're buying into the narrative. You're buying into the narrative, just like Candace said. 2020 was trust the science. 2026, a mourning widow. She's a mourning widow. It's like this is absolute crazy. This is crazy what we're experiencing as a culture, as a society. They're going in, folks. Demonic entities. This spiritual war is in full gear now. It's going all the way in. So, in other news, middle-aged men may be aging faster due to forever chemicals. And, folks, that's why I always have people on talking about my health, red light therapy, methylene blue, peptides, everything. It's all out. I'm covering it all now because the IGF that you put under your tongue, C60 inflammation, because we're being bombarded by chemicals and plastics, the air, the water, everything. Folks, they hate humanity. They want you off this planet. They want to take over. They feel like this planet, I am not kidding you when I'm saying this, they feel like this planet is rightfully theirs. Rightfully theirs. And they have disgust and disdain for you. You're goyim. You're considered goyim. You all know what that means. If you don't, go look it up. Forever chemicals, also known as PFAS or per and polyphenol substances, are a class of synthetic chemicals often used in non-stick coatings, food packages, cleaning products, plastics, and more. Plastics is a big one. In the study published February 25th in the journal Frontiers in Aging, researchers found specific forever chemicals, namely PFNA, and I can't pronounce that word, were present in blood of 95%. 95% of participants. And you know, this is not only making us age faster, but you got to think about this. What is it doing to your hormones? Why are people so sterile, impotent, whatever? And then more feminine. Men are way more feminine today than I've ever seen in my life. The younger generations coming up, they have a female energy. Even these guys at the gym that are pumping weights and looking huge and all that, they still have this feminine energy. It's like it has to be in the air, the water, the chemicals. That's what's doing it, folks. And in this, oh yeah, this right here. Oh boy. So, all right, folks, I'm going to jump on with Juan OSavin, talk about the blood moon on Nino's Corner.tv, talk about the blood moon. And yes, he did pop in for the ringside with Nino. He took a few questions. It was pretty cool. It was fun. There was a long ringside with Nino that lasted just a few hours, actually a couple hours. But I do apologize. I didn't mean to sign off. It was an absolute mistake. So I'm sorry, Black Sheep family. I didn't mean to do that. You guys could have talked all night long. All night long, I wouldn't have cared. But let's get to what the fuck news. In what the fuck news, more Americans under 55 are dying of severe heart attacks. Gee, I wonder what that is. I don't know. What about you folks, huh? I think we know what it is. So the last thing someone in their 30s or 40s should worry about is dying of a heart attack, but new research shows more are. The proportion of adults 18 to 54 who died in a hospital of a severe heart attack, first heart attack, by the way, attack rose 57% between 2011 and 2022. Gee, I wonder why. According to a new study published Thursday at the Journal of American Heart Association, most of those who died were men, but women died at a higher rates than men. So most of the people that died were men, but women did die at a higher rate. The study offers the latest evidence of worsening health among younger U.S. adults, including deaths and conditions traditionally tied to aging, such as heart disease and cancer. And that is turbo cancers and heart disease right now, skyrocketing. Oh, nothing's happened to me. And you took this. Give it time. The increase among 18 to 54-year-olds is especially concerning because mortality from heart attacks has generally been declining, said Dr. Mohan Statish, a clinical cardiovascular disease fellow at New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center, who is lead author of the study. At least 3/4 of heart attacks among young and middle-aged adults are first-time heart attacks, he said. What could be causing that? Risk factors driving the increase include diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and drug use. The study found low income could also play a role if a person can't afford to get good treatment. And I notice how they say nothing, not a thing about this. I can't even talk about it on here. Crazy times we're living in, folks, huh? Crazy, crazy times. Yeah. I'm going to talk about the blood moon with Juan. I want to get that squared away because I think everything kicks off right after that, folks. I don't know what you all think about it, but I know, what do they say? What's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire? A billionaire understands astrology, right? So they're a part of the occult? I don't know. Just saying, is that what they know? I mean, they're all part of these secret societies. They all follow this shit. You even hear like mainstream podcasters talking about it today. Candace Owens, others. It's like that's what it is. That's our reality, folks. Don't you feel like our matrix is falling apart right in front of our eyes? Everything. It's all being exposed. It's like watching the graphics of a video game just fall apart. It's so crazy. And let me tell you, folks, it's speeding up. It's speeding up. We're going so fast in this direction. And I think I was on Steve Bannon's show the other day, and he was talking about, the guest before me was talking about AI. This is all engineered. They know how fast AI is going to go. It's going to leave us behind, but there'll be an answer to that. It doesn't have to leave you behind. AI does not have to leave you behind. Why? Because they're going to integrate humans into AI. They're going to say, just take the chip. Just do this. Transhumanism. And it's coming faster than you know, and I bet it's going to be here before 2030, folks. I'm telling you, it's moving fast. Let's get to the super chats. Alex, do we have any super chats? David, I am praying for your parents and you and your family. Still, it has been a very hard couple of years for everyone. It's Kelly 𝗵𝗃𝗃. It's been terrible. I'm trying to come to terms with it. I'm wrestling with it every day, but like I said, every day it's a big dark cloud over me, and I don't know. Like, it hits me in waves, and I'm mourning. A lot of people say, well, enjoy them while they're here, but I'm watching them, tubes connected to my dad in his nose, in his stomach, is a feeding tube, a catheter. I mean, they're both in diapers. It's terrible. It's horrific to watch. It's horrific to watch, and I'm trying to deal with it. That's all I can say. All right, let's go to the next one, Alex. Mary Eyes of an Angel, Grandma loves you, wrote you a letter, and it's in the box at California God's Perfect Harvest Gifts. I just went to the P.O. box. I picked up all the boxes. I got to go through all of them. I've got a little black sheep ornament. I got a lot of cool stuff, handwritten letters. I got to read them all, go through them all. It's a lot. It's work. It's work, actually. But I'm going to do it. Don't worry. I'm going to do it. I promise you. Let's get to the next one. Mary Eyes of an Angel, prepare for Purim. Yep. And I might be coming on with Roseanne Barr to talk about that. Book of Esther, time for us to fight back March 3rd, Boomerang. Yeah. I think Dave Navarro, I heard it on the Ringside with Nino. Someone said that Dave Navarro warned about the Purim moon of March 3rd. Somebody said that in Ringside with Nino. I don't remember who said it. But they're probably in the chat right now and they'll say, me. But yeah, Dave Navarro, allegedly, he warned about this Purim moon years ago, talking about the March 3rd of 2026. So that's what one of my followers on Ringside with Nino said. So I haven't looked into it, but I would like to check it out. Let's get to the next one. Mary Eyes of an Angel, your sweetheart. Trump is dropping the seeds of executive order and reading the chatter to see if liberals will accept it or go crazy. Well, we know they're going to go crazy because they already are crazy. And they're not going any crazier. Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. Kelly Real, Forever Chemicals scare me. I don't even use plastic cutting board. Love you, Big David. That's why I'm battling it, man. I'm on supplements and doing stuff, and I'm in the gym every day. I feel like sweating is probably the most important thing you could do to fight against all this stuff. I just feel it's like flushing out a radiator. Thank you. CR71003, super sticker. Thank you so much. All right, that's it. Alex.
Hey, Nino.
Good show. Very informative show today. I think Juan's over the target. I'm going to get a lot more out of him right now with the blood moon. I'm going to talk specifically about that. I'm going to try to keep him on course with that and then talk about what will be the Democrat game plan, because you know what he tells me on the phone and what he tells the audience are just two different lanes. And I don't go against anybody's betrayal, but I'm going to try to get as much out of him as I can on ninoscorner.tv. Alex, thank you, man, for everything. You're going to be off the next couple of days, right?
Yeah, a couple of days, but I should be back next Friday.
Next Friday. So we're going to be without Alex Monday and Wednesday, but you'll be back on Friday.
Yep.
So everyone give Alex your prayers. He's moving. He's going back to the East Coast, right?
Yeah, big cross-country drive. So, yeah, appreciate it, everyone.
Man, that's going to be nice, man. So you're probably going to go through, what are you taking, I-10 or what are you?
I'm taking I-80.
I-80, does that go, because I know I-10 goes all the way.
Yeah, it goes, it does. Once I get on it, I can take it all the way to,
But then if you go on I-10, you don't have to go north. What? Okay, so I get it. So, well, dude, I wish you the best of luck. Be safe, travel safe. We'll see you Friday. Wish Alex the best, folks. He's part of the Black Sheep family now. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I'll see you at ninoscorner.tv and the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the Black Sheep of broadcasting, baby. Yeah.